I can speak full English. Okay, buddy, old pal.
What's going on, everybody? Before I start today's video, I just want to say thank you to everybody that joined in on the live stream last night. That was my first time, so I had some difficulties with the audio at the beginning, and I still couldn't even like see myself the whole time, so I don't know what you guys saw, but hopefully you enjoyed it. And then the people in the super chat shouted out a few channels. I hope it helped you out. If it did, we'll do this again. Chow jumped in on it for a little bit. Chow. But I had fun doing it. We just streamed for 2 hours and it was sick. But tonight it's super humid out. Chow, it's hot, huh?
It's a little bit hot.
It's a little bit hot. The diff is back out of the car. The drive shaft is out of the car. And I'm going to try and explain to you guys why it's out of the car. Somebody mentioned in my comments that if you freeze bushings, obviously it's metal, it'll shrink. And I didn't think about that. So I did that. And I tested it with this one, just to like see if it would actually work, and it works. So now it's out and it's gonna go back in the freezer. And the one for the front of the case, which goes on the subframe right there behind the fuel cell, that one's in the freezer right now also, because basically that one isn't gonna be that hard to get in, except for the fuel cell is right in the way. So I can't like take big swings at it to like hammer it in. The axles work perfect. The drive shaft is the next thing. Chow, can you hold this camera so I can try and explain this?
No.
Please. Alright, so the holes on the flange on the back of the diff don't meet up with this, as you can see. So we have to drill new holes. And somebody asked me a question about this. Is it going to, basically, could you drill them wrong and make the drive shaft off balance? The cool thing is, if you film right here, Chow, on the front of this, there's like an eccentric hole that fits right inside there, and that's the same size. So we fit that in there, and it locks it into place. And then if we just offset it like this, we're gonna drill new holes. It's tight, should be fine. I've got some spots marked already, so I'm gonna drill some holes. It's scary, but we're gonna do it. All right, so one hole almost drilled, but it's funny because I had somebody comment talking shit about how we use a Black & Decker drill, and I talked shit back, and I was like, this thing always gets the job done, and the drill just took a shit. So yeah, I got one hole, that's where we're at. Alright, so I'm picking up where I left off last night with a drill that quit working. And I'm going to step it up a little bit this time. Last time, Orion bought a Black & Decker drill, and it was definitely not ideal. And I broke it. I don't know if you want to say that if I broke it or if the drill was just a piece of shit. But I'm going to buy a new drill for the shop. Nothing too crazy. I'm just gonna go to Harbor Freight because that's like really all I have that's close to me. So I'm gonna get that and then pick up some hardware and go back to the house and get cracking on drilling this new bolt pattern for the drive shaft. Just got home, busted out the drill, and like a dream, my hole is drilled. This is for the drive shaft. That worked great. So I've got my other holes marked there. So I've got to drill those out one at a time, take it nice and slow, and then try and get this diff bolted back up and make sure the bushings are in all the way. I know there's been like probably 4 videos about this diff, and it's not that it's difficult. It's just pretty time consuming. I want everything to be perfect. I don't want to have to do anything twice. So I could just not document it and show you guys the finished product, or I can just keep filming stuff, keep talking that bullshit with you guys, and yeah. Orion's been helping me hold this thing. I got the first 2 holes drilled, 2 more to go. Even though I actually spent some money on a drill this time, it still is not the best, and it's dying every hole. So it's
graveyard of drill bits around me.
yeah, and all these bits. This shit is so hard to drill through, but it's almost done. Got to finish those up. So we got our new holes drilled for the drive shaft. The diff is going to go in one more time for measuring purposes for the bushings. It'll come back out. Bushings will get hammered in. The last 2 bushings get hammered in. Bolt this up. Bolt the drive shaft up. And the axles will be placed against the stubs, but not bolted in because I want to do new hardware. The 240 hardware, I'll show you guys what it actually looks like. All right, so this is stock 240 hardware. And the problem is the bore on the Z stubs is a little bit bigger and they kind of fit like shit. So I'm gonna get something that fits properly. So I did everything I could to try and get that bushing in, but it looks like the fuel cell is gonna have to come up a little bit. Hopefully not all the way out, but just up a little bit. The cool part about taking out my fuel cell though, is there's these little tabs that go around the fuel cell, and that's what holds it in. Just a nut and bolt. And there's, let's see, 2, 4, there's 6 of them. And then the fuel cell will be able to just lift right up. And hopefully what I can do, I don't think there's a lot of fuel in this and it's not very heavy, so we can lift it up and maybe Orion or Chow can hold it up, and then I'll bang in the bushing real fast and we'll drop it back down, bolt it up, and be good to go. Pretty quick, right? Take the fuel cell out. No, it's heavy. I thought it didn't have very much fuel in it, but I spilled a little bit of fuel on the cell. It is what it is. If you're curious what it looks like back here without it in, you can see these are the mounting points. And I had some people question this actually at the beginning of 2017, the way that we did this, and yeah, it worked fantastic. So what I'm going to do now is that little section of sheet metal right there, I cannot hammer this bushing in. So I'm going to cut this out and just say fuck it, because that's my only option. I can't hit it in any other way. You guys said to freeze it. I tried that, didn't work. So this is the last resort. Is that in all the way? Can you see it?
There's like a millimeter.
At the bottom?
All the way around. Oh yeah, there she is.
It's tight.
Now you gotta do the other one.
All right, so this is less than ideal, but because the fuel cell covers this, fuck it. They gave me access to bang in that bush in, and within 2 swings it was in. So it's just a little notch cut out of that little piece of sheet metal that hangs down. On Jeff's chassis, when he built it, he cut that whole flap out, and I was gonna do that, but it just kind of seems unnecessary. So I'm just going to leave it like this. We're gonna throw the cell back in. Got one more bushing to hammer in, and drive shaft, bolts. She's good to go. Oh, and once the drive shaft's attached, and it's not going to piss any more transmission fluid out of the bottom, or out of the output shaft, I can start the car and run it long enough to idle it out and bleed the coolant.
All the way in?
Yeah.
Oh, so then that, that just plays it out.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was supposed to be perfect.
No. I mean, that's better, but it doesn't matter. Alright, so I'm under the car here. You can see I got this bushing in nice and good. And then this bushing is in super solid. And then this one over here is right where it needs to be, but I don't have a bolt for it. The one that I have, I don't know where it is, but it's not long enough. I got the drive shaft all bolted up. Exhaust is back up. So the last thing to do, fuel cell, put it in. And then tomorrow I'm gonna go grab that bolt and then axle bolts. And the car is ready for the freaking dyno. Boo. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise that the fuel cell had to come out because I got to wipe it all down and clean it up. Other than Chow scratching the shit out of it right there, but that's okay. It looks good. We turned on the fuel pumps to make sure there's no leaks after attaching all the lines again. And I'm very happy with this. And thank you to these guys for helping me. The drive shaft's up, exhaust is up, it's ready to go. Just got to get one bolt for one side of the diff. And I have one that I can use as reference and just find one. Is it in my pocket? Yep, it's in my pocket. I got it. This is it. I just need a longer one. So I'm gonna get that tomorrow and axle bolts and we're done. Engine's back together, new rear end. I probably got about a 1/16 done on my car that most guys do in the off season, but it's just me with limited tools, limited resources, and I'm happy with what I got done. And there's still more to come. I mean, they still need to do paint and body work and new coilovers, but that's it. So tomorrow I am going to the bank and I'm cashing a check and I'm buying Orion's trailer. And I'm so fucking happy about it.
Me too, because I get to buy my new one.
Yeah, and that money will go towards either Orion's new trailer or his car.
It's actually, we talked about this.
We did talk about this.
It's all going into the car.
Yeah, it's gonna pay for the rest of the parts on his S14, which is super sweet. And they should pretty much be done around the same time. Right? Yeah. So that's exciting. I'll talk about that a little bit more in tomorrow's video. And oh, I got grease all over my face. And what I'm going to be doing to the trailer. He's putting a lot of miles on it, and it's still in fairly good shape. That's for tomorrow's video. Thanks for watching. Took me damn near 4 days to get this diff in, but it was well worth it. Well, actually, I think it's going to be well worth it. We'll see when I can drive the car. And now my car won't top out at about 95 miles an hour. We'll get better wheel speed and a lower gear. Should be exciting. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.